Many local businesses do not know that when they change this one thing, they are going to improve their ranking from the second page or the number 10th position on the local maps pack to the very first position. So today I'll be showing you just one tiny thing you can do to improve your ranking on the local maps pack, and let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to be searching for water testing service in Houston, and let's see the result that we have on Google and what they can do to significantly improve their position, their ranking position from where they currently are to the number 1 spot. Now I'm going to be searching for water testing service in Houston. Okay, water testing service in Houston. So here is the results. Number 1 on our search result page is the local maps pack. I'm not surprised because this query carries a particular location, and so this kind of queries trigger the local maps pack. And that's how it is for many businesses that are location based. So when people are searching for a product or a service and they add a location, it means they want to buy that service real quick. So if you are showing up in the local maps pack for this kind of query, it is a huge win for you, because guess what, you're about to make a sale. Now let's get back to it. Let's get back into it and see what we have on our result page. So number 1, ranking business here says North Water District Lab Services, and they have 88 reviews. Wow. Okay, so the second one, JEMT Strategy LLC, they have 402 reviews, almost 5 times the number of reviews as the first one. So there's got to be something that North Water District Lab Services is doing correctly, and that is what we're about to find out together. And also what they can do, this one thing they can do to make their rankings better. So let's check on North Water District Lab Services. So this is the business page, and we are going to be seeing what they have on their website. So this strategy I'm about to share has to do with websites, and that's why we need to have a look at the website to see what they are doing correctly and what they are not doing correctly. So here we go. I opened it on a new tab. So this is the website for the number 1 ranking business on the Google local maps pack for water testing services Houston. Not much to see here. Let's see, what is their H1? H1 say wastewater testing services. Well, that is their service, but they could have done this better by mentioning water testing services in Houston or wastewater testing services Houston. You know, so you have to have the services, you have to have the services and the location on your website's H1. Now H1 is not the same as the title tag. Both the H1 and the title tag should carry your service plus location, in most cases at least. Alright, so it appears that this particular business are not doing it the right way. So what else do they have on the page? Water testing service, solid testing service, toxicology, and the rest of them. These are basically all their services. And the call button is not clickable. Oh no, this is a huge mistake on their part. Now if you are going to be building your website for conversion, you have got to have your phone numbers clickable, because by the time customers get on that page and they're trying to call you and it's not clickable, they get frustrated. You know, attention span is so, short these days, and you have to get their attention. You have to make them do that thing you want them to do as soon as they get to your website, and having your number being clickable is one of those things. So if you're not doing that, then you're getting something wrong. So obviously the number is not clickable. And let's see what else. I have a problem with the fact that they have more than one H1 on their page. This is a sliding hero section that has multiple H1s. Okay, actually 2 slides from this here. I can see it's 2 slides, but regardless, it is best or better to have just one hero section that says water testing service Houston. That way Google understands, because H1 is the most important heading on your page, on your website. So if your home page, if your website connected to your GBP is your landing page, so if your GBP landing page is your website, then it might as well have this H1 that says water testing service Houston, because that is the only way that Google, well, not the only way, but that is one of the ways that Google can understand what your website is about and what you do and what location you are based in. So all of this information makes it clearer to the Google bot that this is what you do. All right, so H1 being the most important heading on a page, it has to be well done. So this one thing can already they're ranking number one, and that's a good thing, but it doesn't mean that they are getting everything right, including the H1 I just talked about. But let's see what else they have on their page. Water testing service. Okay, so I'm checking and I do not find a link. So this is another problem, because water testing service is probably their main category. It's probably their biggest service. All right, and I understand that, but they should have content like this between 50 to 100 words that shortly describes their services, their water testing services, and then there should be a link on one of these texts that leads to water or wastewater testing services, a particular service page that talks about water testing services in Houston. Obviously they do not have that, so there's a missing link. They don't have a link on the first H2. This is clearly an H2. They do not have a link, and that's a problem. It only says request quote. Now requesting a quote will not be the problem if you do things right. Okay, so they said other featured services. Okay, this is fine, but let's see where this takes us. Okay, let's see. It says learn more. I am hoping that it is a dedicated page to okay, I kind of disappointed. Reason being that if I'm going to click learn more, it should be like a dedicated page to water testing services in Houston. Okay, so this text is too short. This text is too short to amount to anything. And also they should have like a picture of the laboratory where the water testing is done. They should have like a YouTube video of an expert explaining, you know, the method or the processes of how they run their services, something like that. A YouTube embed would really give them a boost. Again, they are already ranking number one, so they probably don't need all this. But in the realm of SEO, you've got to do things right, even if you're already, you know, ranking number one. It doesn't matter. It could be that the reason they're ranking number one is that the competition in that particular niche is so low, such that whoever is doing a little bit of good can be at the top, you know, regardless of whether they are getting it right or wrong. I mean, the rest of the thing. So it doesn't mean that they are doing a great job. It just means that there is a low competition in the industry. All right, that said, I guess the same goes for drinking water analysis and the rest of them. Short text and zero links. This is terrible for a page like this. Now again, customers are definitely going to reach out to you, but you need to do what can make this page rank. All right, so that on the traditional result page, they can click and land on this page. Also, having links and having your homepage tied to a solid homepage, a solid and well-built homepage with content and links and everything linked to your GBP also helps improve your GBP ranking. Okay, so that's it. Let's see. So this is all they have in regards to all their services, water testing services in Houston, Texas. Again, I have the problem with the length of the content and the fact that there are no links, there are no embeds, there are no solid structure for the pages. This doesn't, you know, it's not looking good SEO wise. Again, they might be ranking number one, but that doesn't matter. They still have to get this one thing right. Okay, that's it. Let's quickly look at the second business on the result page and let's see if they are doing things differently. So this is JEMT Strategy LLC. Now we'll have a look at their website to see if there is any difference from the first, before I move into introducing this wonderful thing that they need to do to boost their ranking. There's a good chance their website needs speed optimization, because it took about close to 30 seconds before it came up. That is not good for business. But that said, let's quickly see what they have on. So this is the entire homepage, and again I'm disappointed because, well, I can't say because of, I mean, look at copyright 2024. There's nobody to even change this to 2026. I mean, this is giving, you don't care about your business, so why should I, you know? So it is not looking good, honestly, for customers. But that said, this is a terrible hero section. There's no phone number, there's no list of services, just a bunch of pictures, markup picture, masked pictures of water treatment, and zero links, like zero links, zero, zero, zero. Wow, 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 this is terrible. Well, contact us. Even contact us doesn't have a link. Oops. WhatsApp for real. Okay, so this is another problem, because a lot of customers are not willing to reach out to you via WhatsApp, especially because they feel like WhatsApp is their personal space, their private space. And if they have to reach out to you for a service on WhatsApp, they honestly will not be taking you seriously. So there should be a way to contact you without you having to put your WhatsApp contact for them to contact you. Because at the end of the day, people want to protect their privacy, and they wouldn't be willing, and they're not ready to ruin that for your services. All right. This is terrible for appointments. Now you need to have either an email or a phone number they can call, or a Calendly link they can book a call on, something, anything else but WhatsApp. Okay, so that's terrible. Also, the homepage is scanty, and there's almost nothing on the homepage. No links, nothing, no H1. I can't even tell. Obviously there's no H1. No H1, no H2, no content, no links, no nothing. So this is a terrible, terrible homepage. It's a terrible landing page. And now I move to this Envirodyne Laboratories Inc. Okay, so Envirodyne has let me see. Okay, this is their website. So let's see what they have on their website. It says drinking water and wastewater testing laboratory for the environmental industry. Well, this would have made more sense if they had said drinking water and wastewater testing services Houston TX. That would have made so much sense, because Google is going to understand that this H1, which is again the most important heading on a page or on a website, is talking about water testing Texas. So if somebody types in water testing services Texas, you are definitely going to show. Maybe not number one, also maybe number one, because given that a lot of businesses are not getting it right in this industry, if you just do this one thing, you are definitely going to rank number one, which is where you want to be, because that's where most of the calls go in. Although this is not part of what I want to share, I'll be sharing that shortly, but it is related. So I'm just giving like a breakdown before I move to the real stuff. Okay, so drinking water and wastewater services testing laboratory for environmental industry sounds close, but if they had included the location TX, like Houston TX, that would have been perfect. All right, but that said, it's better than the last. Oh, what? Oh no. Oh, okay, definitely not better than the last, because what I can see here is the entire this is everything on the page. Like, this is everything, nothing more, nothing less. This is it. This is the whole thing. So there are no links, just like the rest of terrible website, man. Okay, NELAP, I don't know what that is. Field service. Okay, no dedicated pages for all of these services. So this is another terrible website. Anyways, this is not what I am exactly here for, but it is good to know that they could do something like make a little tweak on their website and then rank exceptionally well, like rank at the top where they get most of the calls. Okay, so before I move to the strategy that I came to share, I would have a look at one more business and see what they are doing wrongly that they can correct and rank number one. So this, I'm ignoring this because it's a sponsored, is a local service ad. I'm also ignoring this because it's a local service ad. So I'm starting, I've checked this, this too as well. So this Cooligan of Houston ranking number 4 rather, which is in most cases invisible because nobody goes on to click on more businesses when they already see the first 3 and their phone numbers are visible, and they can call them right away without having to go all the way down. What do they have to go all the way down for when they already see the businesses they can call? So where you want to be as a business owner is 1, 2, 3. 3 being the least, 2 which is the medium. Number 1 is actually where you want to be, but 1 to 3 is just fine. Okay, anything lower than that, you are completely invisible no matter how hard you try. So that's it. Let's see. I'm looking for a business that is that has a huge number of reviews, but they're not ranking well, because I know for sure that there is something they're not getting right, and we're about to figure that out together. So let's see home water, for example. I like the fact that they have a van, a business van, with the logo home water on the van. This is giving real business. So people trust businesses more when they can see like equipment or vehicles or anything to make them, anything to convince them that this is an actual business that they can trust. So it increases the level of trust they have for businesses. Also, this is a testing lab for the waters, and yeah, that looks good. But let's have a look at their websites. Finally, this is the final website I'll be looking at before I move on to what I come to share. Stay tuned just a moment. All right. So here we go. Their primary category says water purification company. Well, okay, yeah, well, that's fine. Manufacturer, water cooler supplier, water filter supplier, water softening equipment supplier, water testing services, water treatment supplier. So all of these ones are their secondary categories. Now let's see how well they itemize these things on their website. Let's see how well they structure these categories on their website. Now let's have a look. Just click the website and open in a new tab. Let's see what they have. Now this is the website coming up. It's loading quickly. I like the fact that it loads up quickly. Alright, so we have our page, and the H1 says transform your water, Houston, Texas. Well, again, this is close, but it should have been better if they just go with water testing service, Houston, Texas. The other website had something, water and wastewater testing service or something like that, but without the Houston and the Texas. Now this one has the Houston and Texas on points, but then they played around with the words transform your water. Nobody really searches for transform your water. People search for water testing service Texas. So this one single fix can really go a long way and impact their local maps ranking. All right, so that's it. Let's see what they have on their title tag. So title tag says Houston TX expert water filtration and softening solution. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, this looks fair enough for their title tag. Looks fair enough. At least they have Houston, Texas on their title tag. They also have water filtration and softening solution, even though that is not exactly water testing service. I think that still works. All right. So this is their hero section. Looks good. There's a splash of water on their image. Oh yeah, this also increases the trust. Houston TX water expert at your service. Okay. Okay. Oh wow, this is fair enough. This is good but not perfect. Now this is what I mean by good but not perfect. Okay, this looks like placeholders on a new website or something like that, or maybe a blog post or a page they created since 2024, and since then they've literally not done anything, single thing on this website. So this is not a good sign at all. Some customers, or potential customers, they read these little things as abandonment. So if they see a post from 2022 and that is the last thing, or that's the last post you have on your page, it means you haven't done anything recently on your website. So you need to keep updating your website. You need to keep your hands on deck. You need to make changes on your web, make it evolve alongside your business, right? It's one thing to know how to do water testing, and it's another thing to keep your business on the front end, which is what customers interact and see most of the time. They interact with and see most of the time. So you want to keep that front end clean and neat and also updated, so that it doesn't give, oh, you've been out of business for a while. No, you're probably working in the background, but your website is not reflecting that. So you need to get that sorted on your website. So that's it. Let's scroll back up and see. So this is their first H2, and it said Houston, Texas water experts at your service. Well, again, this is the problem. They have Houston TX on the H2, which is good. Water expert at your service could have been okay. So the thing, this is where what I'm about to show you comes in. All right. So on your H2, you are supposed to have your secondary category on your GBP on your H2. All your H2 should contain your secondary category plus location. Secondary category on your GBP plus location. Now this water purification company or water purification services should have been the H1, since that is what is on their GBP. All right, so water purification Texas, Houston, Texas, that should have been on their H1, but they have Houston, Texas, so we might as well forgive them. But you see this H2, let's see what they have on their secondary category. Now they have manufacturer. I wouldn't really go for manufacturer because it's too broad and a bit vague, like manufacturer. What do you manufacture? I think they are basically water testing service company, and so I'm not sure what they manufacture, so I would just keep this. Now water cooler supplier, maybe this. Water filter supplier, that too. Water testing service, this is kind of like their biggest service, so they shouldn't play around too much with that. They should keep that at the top of their page. So if I were them, or if I work with them, or if they hire me to do their SEO, I'll take water testing service, and then I'll put it here: water testing service, Houston, Texas. Water testing service, Houston, Texas. So while the H1 has water purification service, Houston, Texas, the H2 has water testing service, Houston, Texas. Now you see this text here: welcome to da 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 da. Now nobody comes to read welcome to a proud member of your community since 2010. Nobody really comes to a website. I kid you not. Nobody comes to a website to read how long you've been in business for, or how you are a proud member, or how you believe water is better. Nah, people come to read what, like, people are really selfish about themselves. They come to take what can benefit them. So if you cannot meet them halfway with their pain points, you have lost it. You have completely lost it. So if I were this, or if I work with this company, I wouldn't do this. I would rather say something about water, testing service in Houston, Texas. Say something about you got a new product, or do you have a new product that you need to test, or you need to test its purity and confirm, or get it. I don't know, whatever it is around that pain point of people wanting to test water or food or anything of that nature, which is what you provide as a service. So talk about the service you provide. Talk about how it's, how you can help me as a user. So if I come and I have to read how you've been in business since 2010, I'll probably not pay attention to you. And it's already bad enough that you have this as your content on your H2, but it's even worse that there are no links, like 0 links. I'm moving my cursor around and I can't find one single link. So this is terrible. This is terrible for your website, and this one single change can even impact your ranking position on the Google Maps path. So that is a small fix that they can do to improve their ranking. Now let's see another H2. So it says homeowner trusted by Houston. So while I understand that you want to put up the review you've had from previous clients or customers, this is probably not the best place to put it. Okay, so another H2 should come here. H2, which is your secondary category on your GBP. So let's see if water treatment supplier or something like that, or water cooler supplier, Houston, Texas. Water cooler supplier, Houston, Texas. That should be on this section of your H2 instead of the review. Review can come somewhere, below the page, somewhere before the end of the page. You can say, here is what our customers are saying about us, or here is what satisfied customer have to say, or something, and then you put the review there. But the most important part of the page is your H1, your H2, and you shouldn't really mess around with it. So if I were these people, or if I work with them, I would say water cooler supplier, Houston, Texas, and then write a brief content of between 50 to 100 words, just like this one, and then include a link. For goodness sake, include a link to a dedicated page for that service. All right, so water testing service, Houston, TX. Then somewhere around the text, something like this, water testing service or water supply or something, just link this text to a dedicated page for water testing service, Houston, Texas. It's that simple. All right, so when I click this link, it takes me to that dedicated page where you have everything from A to Z about water testing service. So that way I'm probably more convinced than you not having a link at all. It's not even helping SEO wise. For you to not have a link, it doesn't help. So the way pages work is that they communicate with each other. So if a page is linked to another page and they have something to do together, it is going to help the ranking. And that brings me to what I've been meaning to share the whole time. Now let's go on to this chart, and then this is how it should have been. All right, so this is, so basically the company is a product or food or water testing service or food testing service or chemical or cosmetic testing service. They basically just test your product before it is approved by governing bodies or something like that. So this is a chart where I designed for a business like this. So water testing service is I learned that water testing service is the biggest service. So that's why I put it there. So this is category 1. Drug testing service, which we didn't see in the examples though, but it's part of the services that these kind of companies provide. Now drug testing service is the category 2. Now these are the subcategories. These are the services under water testing service. All right, so there's drinking water testing, there's borehole water testing, there's wastewater. Okay, we actually saw this one earlier. And effluent testing. There is microbiological water testing. There is water quality analysis. All of these sub-services, they are under water testing service. Pay attention to this. This is where the secret comes in, right? So water testing service is the main category. I call it category 1. Now, these are services under the category 1. Water testing service is a broad name for all these smaller other services under water testing services. Now we have all these 5 other services under this. Now what happens is that this water testing service, which is the category 1, is the page I've been hammering on, that they could have created a dedicated page for water testing service. Now on that water testing service page, that page is going to link to all of these 5 other sub-services or subcategories. The water testing service page is going to link to all these smaller services under water testing service. So which means this page has 5 links, or maybe more, but at least 5 links, and they link to all these smaller pages. And each of these pages also link to other smaller pages and also to the mother page, which is the water testing service page. Okay, and the same goes for drug testing service. Okay, so raw material testing, pharmaceutical microbiology testing, so active pharmaceutical ingredient testing, drug stability testing. So these are subcategories or sub-services under drug testing service. So drug testing service now becomes an umbrella service which has these other small services under it. Now what you cannot do, I repeat, what you cannot do is link services from this category, from category 2 to category 1. Now, in other words, you cannot link raw material testing to wastewater and effluent testing. You cannot link drug stability testing to water quality testing or any of the sub-services under water testing service. Also, you cannot link this one to any of these sub-services under drug testing service. In other words, only the sub-services under a particular category can link to each other. I repeat, only the services or the sub-services under a particular category or particular service can be linked to each other and also to the parent page. Now, that said, if you have a page that says water testing service, they should link to all of this page. Also, each of these pages should link to one another and then also to the parent page. The same goes for this. Again, what you can do is link any of these sub-services to any of these sub-services. So the category, so the sub-services has to be related. If it's water testing service, everything around water testing service has to be only about water testing service. The pages that link to water testing service has to be only about water testing service. And for drug testing service, the same goes for it. Only the pages that has anything to do with drug testing service can link to each other and also to the mother page. So this is the secret I wanted to share, and I'm glad I just did. Right, so this one change, it looks really small. I mean, given that you can just create a page and then link a related page to each other, it looks really small, and that businesses can do it. But most of the time, many businesses ignore it completely, and that is why they are ranking poorly, even though they have lots and lots and lots of reviews. I mean, reviews are very hard to get. I mean, it's not easy to convince people to give you a review for your business. But if you can fight so hard and get 2,200 reviews, then you might as well just do this little tweak and then improve your ranking position from whatever number you are to number 1, because that is where matters. That is where the calls come from. Okay, though it doesn't stop there, you still have to show up on the AI overview. You still have to show up on the traditional SEO, the 10 blue links basically. So it doesn't stop there, but it is one step closer to getting that call, that lead, because at the end of the day, after all of this is said and done, what you really need for your business is calls, is leads, is sales. That is what you need for your business. So all of this is not a waste of time or some playing around. No, the end goal of all of these things is to get calls for your services, which is the most important thing here, because without revenue, your business dies a natural death. Okay, so this little change can help businesses that have so much review. Just a little tweak here and there can greatly improve their ranking position, because they've done the hardest of work, which is collecting reviews. Reviews are so hard to collect, but they've done the majority of the work, so they might as well just do this little thing and then improve their ranking on the local maps pack. Now the same goes for this business that have 3,300 reviews. That's a lot of reviews. If they make this one change, none of the other businesses can come close to them. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Please help me subscribe and leave a comment. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.